Alrighty, good evening. Let's go ahead and get this evening's property committee kicked off. Today is Thursday, October 10th, 2024. It is 5 p.m. We do have enough members to do business, only missing member Bloomfield. So I believe our roll call is in effect. Do we have any appearances by members of the public or county employees, Administrator Taylor?
Chair Lehman, we've had no requests this evening.
All right. With no requests, that continues us forward to our consent agenda. On the consent agenda, we have the approval of the minutes from September 5th, 2024 regular meeting, and the recommended approval of bills and or transfers, if any, which I don't believe we have any transfers this time around. Bills totaling $472,596.51. Might I have a motion to put us on the floor for our consent agenda? I see a motion by Member Byrne and a second, please. Second by Vice Chair Soldner. Comments, questions on our consent agenda? Seeing no comments or questions, let's go ahead and put our consent agenda, which includes the approval of minutes and the recommended approval of bills, to a vote. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion passes. Continuing on to item number 4, departmental matters. We get to welcome our Director of Facilities Management. Welcome, Mr. Gaither. It looks like you have 2 items to be presented for action this evening. So let's kick off with item 4A1A. That's the request approval of a change order of the Government Center Elevator Modernization Project. Might I have a motion for that one, please? See a motion by Member Tompkins and a second by Member Bell. Mr. Gaither, over to you for any information that would be helpful for us.
Yes, this is to address there's a water issue underneath the elevator. It has water coming in through a cold joint. This is to address that, as well as to update the ceiling and the flooring in that elevator cab, along with the rest of the renovation to that elevator project.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Mr. Gaither. And then just one point of clarity on this one. So this is not going to increase our budget. This is within our overall budget for the project, correct?
I believe that is correct.
Fabulous. Additional comments or questions by the committee, please? All right. Seeing none, let's go ahead and vote on 4A1A. That's the request approval of the change order for the Government Center Elevator Modernization Project. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. 4A1B takes us to the request approval of a contract for elevator maintenance in the Government Center building. Might I have a motion for that one? We have a motion by Vice Chair Soldner, a second by Member Byrne. Mr. Gaither.
I need to apologize. There is actually a Scrivener's error on this. It's not the Government Center, it's the Jail Annex and Health Department.
Thank you very much for that clarity. No, that's great.
This will bring the maintenance contract over, so all of our elevators would be under maintenance contract with Otis Elevators. We just unify all those contracts into the agreements under the same company. So we're not. Right now, we currently have 2 buildings that are serviced by a different company, and we've had really good working relationship with Otis.
Wonderful, thank you. Comments or questions from the committee? So I just want to make a point of clarity that all elevators now are going to be under the same service contract or the same service provider contract.
That is correct.
And then are they with that alignment with that service provider, do the dates all kind of come in line, or are we going to be continually approving and reapproving at different points in time?
We are working to have that all aligned so that they all occur at the same time as well, similar to what we were doing with the fire system and alarm system contracts, to get those unified all together as well.
Awesome. Love simplicity. Thank you very much. And then I guess I would turn and ask administration, since we did have a Scrivener's error on the location of it, is that something that we need to amend, or is it okay to just call it a Scrivener's error and go forward with the item as it is? All right, so it looks like, Assistant State's Attorney, would you like to give us that information, or would you prefer that I just share what you? Okay. So the request is that we perhaps take an amendment to adjust the language. So the language in the agenda says Government Center, and then Director Gaither, that language should say what specifically?
It should say for the jail annex and health department elevators.
All right, jail annex and health department elevators.
I'll make that amendment.
Thank you for the motion to make the amendment. Do we have a second for that motion? We have a second from Member Byrne. Let's go ahead and vote then on the amendment to 4A1B that is calling for that verbal amendment with the jail annex. All of those in favor of changing the language from the government center to the jail annex signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that one passes. So our new language would say, request approval of a contract for elevator maintenance in the jail annex. I think we said elevators. Slash health department. Thank you. I appreciate the assist on that one. So let's read that one back. Let's go ahead and put 4A1B to a vote. That is the request approval of a contract for elevator maintenance in the jail annex slash health department buildings. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. Thank you all very much for going on that journey. Let's go ahead and go over to any items to be presented for information. Mr. Gaither, I believe you've got your monthly report and any other info that you'd like to share with us.
Thank you. As usual, we've had another busy month. A lot of times our stuff is rather mundane and boring. It's behind the scenes. But the boilers in this building, we did have those fired up last month prior to the meeting. We do have the health department building, the 200 West Front Street buildings fired up as well now. We have had the state fire marshal in and has inspected and signed off on all of those. So we are rolling forward with those. We have some fine tuning yet to do and a little bit of training for our team, but that's exciting for us. I know it's not always exciting for other people, but those are exciting things for us. And another thing, all of our buildings, our fire alarms, our horns and strobes have all been tested. Our fire pumps have been tested. Everything has been completed and passed, minus a valve that we're replacing in the Law and Justice Center. So that's always a big one for us, is to get all those. It's one of those things that everybody just, you're happy they work. We don't. It's not something that's fun and exciting, but for us, it's a big deal to make sure that those are all operational. So some of the stuff that's more fun and exciting is you can make it out to the Fairview campus in Normal. You can see there's some more work going on the Fairview building out there. They're starting the tuck point work, I believe, this week. Monday. They have started the soffit and gutter work already. So that's kind of exciting. The facelift on that building's coming along. Another really exciting is if you make it south of town and you get out to our new animal control, we are starting to actually see the footprint of the building. So some fun stuff going on there if you get a chance to visit either one of those campuses.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for those updates, both the big things and the small things, because all of it is what is able to keep our county rolling. So thank you. Comments or questions from the committee? Member Byrne.
Yeah, just noticing on the Fairview building work, it looks like you just got some proposals back for asbestos abatement. Do those proposals, just generally your first take, come in within your expectations in terms of cost and time and things like that?
I'll let Scott answer that. He's actually handling that. So
Surprisingly lower than what I expected. I was very happy with the cost.
Excellent. Good to hear. Thank you.
Additional comments or questions? Thank you both very much for everything that you've done for the county thus far. Look forward to continuing to see some of the big projects continue to roll on. Moving on to departmental matters number 4, however, transitioning over to B with our Director of Parks and Recreation, Mr. Steffa. Welcome, Mr. Steffa. Looks like we don't have any items for action this evening, but you do have a robust monthly report and would love to hear anything that you'd like to share with the committee this evening.
Yes, the only thing I have really just to point out, the brick and mortar work, tuck pointing project at the Glazner Beach was finished. Looks great. We still have some more to do, but we didn't budget enough money this year, and so we budgeted a little bit more money for next year to finish that project up. So the other thing I just wanted to, we have a full campground this weekend. We'll have a full campground the following weekend. It's kind of our last hurrah, our Fall Colors Family Day weekend. The neat thing about that event is the staff, it's the staff's favorite event too, so we all enjoy it. We all get to enjoy it. So other than that, we're kind of winding down, coming to the end of the season. Fairly soon we'll be closing the back sections of the campground down and the water will get shut down and whatnot. But one other thing, I just wanted to give a shout out to our county highway department for doing some striping on at our boat launch area and the new asphalt that was put down last year. They came out and did that and also striped the boat launch for us. So I just wanted to give a shout out to them. I would be more than happy to answer any questions if anybody has any.
No comments or questions? Go for it, Member.
Just a quick question. The Fall Festival weekend, will that be advertised around?
Yes,
That sounds like a lot of fun.
it's been on our website for a little while now. And I posted on our Facebook page. Plus, we also put flyers up. Yeah, it's a one-day event. It's the 19th of October. Basically runs from noon to 9 o'clock at night. We have different activities like a kid's candy hunt, marshmallow and wiener roast. I'm just trying to think of some things off the top of my kids' activities. We do the highlight basically is the trick or treating in the campground. The campers absolutely love this. There's some campers that have been coming there for years and they decorate their campsites, so it's kind of a neat thing. And then we end the night with a haunted hay rack ride. So you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Steffa, for all that you and your department have done through a rather busy season. And I also love hearing the partnerships that happen between our departments. So thanks for calling out the highway department. Thank you very much to Jerry and the rest of the team there. And love continuing to see the upgrades and improvements that happen year over year at Kamlara. Great job to everybody.
Thank you.
All right, with no additional comments or questions, we can continue on to 4AC. Welcome, County Administrator Taylor.
Thank you.
Looks like we have quite a few individualized action items this evening. With 4C1A, the request approval of fiscal year 2025 recommended budget for the Facilities Management Department. And that's including the Juvenile Detention Center program, the Metcom program, 200 West Front Street program, Old Courthouse program, Law and Justice Center program, Fairview Building program, Animal Control program, and Government Center program. If we were to, would anyone be opposed to taking all of those together? All right, seeing no opposition, then I'll look for a motion to put 4C1A on the floor for discussion, taking 1A or A1 through A8 together. We have a motion by Member Byrne and a second by Member Bell. Administrator Taylor, over to you for the presentation.
Thank you. So as you see, I have a short PowerPoint presentation to show for the property committee, referencing the two departments that you have oversight over in this committee. So to start off, we'll start off with facilities management as we have here on our motion. That starts on page 16 of your packet. And just as a brief overview, the facilities management has daily operations for facilities, including custodial and maintenance care for all 10 buildings in our responsibility. That includes electrical, lighting, heating and air conditioning, plumbing, fire, suppression systems, kitchen equipment, and all jail systems, including doors and locks. For the grounds maintenance crew, they do lawn care, snow removal, cleaning repairs, and building structures. And that takes you from the roof down to the underground utilities that is under the care of this department. Our total facilities budget is $9,862,683 for all properties. The salaries and employee costs comprise 21% of our budget, which is the opposite that you'll see in many of the other departments. Services is actually the majority category in this budget, with taking up 70% of that. When you look at the aggregate expenses for all the buildings, they've increased 17%. I just too want to highlight, this is highlights of the major expenses for these buildings. Most of these highlights can be found in lines 744 for replacement or repair, and then also in the 800 lines for capital improvements. So for major capital projects and restoration plan for 2025, we continue to upgrade the LED lighting for the buildings. For our 200 West Front Street building, which houses our health department, our CAC, Children's Advocacy Center, our behavioral health unit, our child support division of the state's attorney, as well as our mediation center. That building will have switchgear upgrades. The roof and sunrooms will be being replaced or repaired. We are replacing a south interior door, and then also work on the air handler, replacing the air handler units. For the old courthouse, we have plumbing upgrades and HVAC improvements that we have budgeted. Moving on to the next slide, the Law and Justice Center has building automation system upgrades. We are installing high-performance water fixtures. That's already begun, but they're continuing with that efforts. We're adding flooring in the east part of the detention center, and then they do need an upgrade to some of the jail communication network. For Government Center, we are continuing on with carpet replacement. We have the elevator modernization of the south elevator, and window replacement and vertical seam seal of the exterior to help maintain the exterior building. Moving on to the Juvenile Detention Center, we have several areas of work in that building, including lighting upgrades, plumbing updates, replacing exterior doors. We have some tuck pointing work in that brick building. We need to replace some pneumatic heater units and exhaust fans. And then lastly, the Fairview building. That is the work that I'm probably the most excited about. I can't speak for the maintenance team, but that's the one I'm most excited about, because that will be investing back into our historic building. And for 2025, we are going to do more interior engineering and design work, and then begin with those projects. And so we do have some original ideas for meeting space. We have not made a determination of what departments or what partial departments would be moved out there. That's still in the works, and probably will be negotiating and arm wrestling between some of our departments who are out of space. But with that being said, I will turn it over to Scott and Joe to see if there's anything else they want to highlight about that project.
Sure. As you guys know, in the spring, we got the roof done. Currently, Gibbs Co-Construction has started the demolition of the exterior. We're removing the soffits and the old trim and fascia and things like that. The brick will be tuck pointed and improved throughout, basically, to make that look a lot better than it does currently. Future plans, obviously, we talked about getting the abatement done to remove the asbestos-containing materials inside. And next step from there, we would plan on demoing the remainder of the mechanicals, insulation, wallboard, everything that's in there down to the studs. And then at that point, probably architecture and design on whatever the plan is from that point on, so.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much for painting that picture for us on what some of that work looks like. Certainly an exciting project indeed.
We'll entertain any questions that the committee has.
I did have a question on just a few of the areas. It looks like we've had some fluctuation in the cost for like pest control services. It looks like that one has increased, as well as garbage disposal services have increased in some pretty sizable ways in a couple different areas. I was just curious if that is a party to just prices and cost of who we're using for our disposal, or if that's looped into some of the larger scale projects that are going on, and we're anticipating additional waste costs and things of that nature with large scale, demos and taking big equipment away and stuff like that.
The pest control, we've had some longer term contracts that we had to renegotiate as we moved into that, and that was the change. And that's similar with a couple of our buildings with our waste management. Those were looped into these contracts as well, so there was some changes there as well from that, and I think that's probably represents what we're looking at.
Just rising service prices.
Thank you very much for the information on that. Would love to continue to look at ways that as a county and as a county government that we could even reduce our waste to perhaps maybe influence some of those rising costs in the good way. Additional questions from the committee? All right, seeing none, let's go ahead and vote on 4C1A, taking items including, so that's our request approval of the fiscal year 2025 recommended budget for the Facilities Management Department, including Juvenile Detention Center, Metcom Program, 200 West Front Program, Old Courthouse Program, Law and Justice Center Program, Fairview Building Program, Animal Control Program, and Government Center Program. All of those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion carries. Continuing on with item B, we have our request approval for fiscal year 2025 recommended budget for the Parks and Recreation Department budget, including Park Operations Program and Recreational Services Program. If there isn't anybody who would prefer, I'd love to go ahead and bucket those together. With no one having a concern on bucketing, I see a motion by Vice Chair Soldner and a second by Member Byrne. Administrator Taylor, would love to hear from you.
Thank you. So, Parks and Rec budget overview. The total budgeted revenue for Parks and Rec is $552,600. Revenues did increase by 5% from last fiscal year based on volume. The majority of those revenue lines did increase slightly. You can see by the pie chart that we have many sources for revenues in this department, with the majority of them being from campground fees. For expenses, the overall expenses increased 1%. The budget includes well, let me step back. The salaries comprise the largest category of this budget, with it being 54%. We've had several upgrades and additions that are mentioned in the slide that I'll go through. The budget includes additional kayaks and canoes, which is helpful on those busy weekends. We've had upgrades to the sinks at the swimming beach and visitor centers to become ADA compliant. We have equipment for the sewage treatment plant, brick and mortar work at the beach house that Mr. Steffa mentioned in his monthly report. We have some concrete work to do. We also have budgeted for a portion of the Route 66 bike trail. That is matching funds that would be related to grants that we receive, hopefully. We have security cameras and also playground equipment budgeted. And we'll entertain any questions.
Comments or questions from the committee? Just a curiosity on my part with the playground equipment that we're looking at. Is that playground equipment ADA compliant? Or are we looking at options of accessible playground equipment?
Yes, that's for the swimming beach, excuse me, and that will be ADA compliant.
Fantastic, thank you. Other comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll take 4C1B. That's a request approval of fiscal year 2025 recommended budget for the Parks and Recreation Department budget, including Park Operations Program and Recreational Services Program. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. On to 4C1C. That's our request approval of the capital improvement plan, which we all have a copy of. Might I have a motion to put it on the floor for discussion? I see a motion by Member Bell and a second by Member Byrne. Administrator Taylor.
Thank you. So the capital improvement plan includes 5 years of planning for our larger projects for FY25, which is the budget you're approving, as well as the projects for the remaining years. That includes $4,865,833 in projects. The Highway Department projects are approved, just as a reminder, in the Transportation Committee under Jerry Stokes and the Highway Department. If you look at the plan as a total for the 5 years from 2025 through 2029, the all funds total $85,829,574. So we have some good things planned for the county. Looking at descriptions of costs allocated by building, these funds, these totals, I just want to point out, do not include projects that would be covered in other revenue areas. So this does not include the building of the animal control shelter, which is covered by bonds. These would be only the capital projects that are covered within this, within the general fund. So the summary pages in your CIP book of pages 11 through 13 kind of give an outline of the summary and all the costs. But for the old courthouse, we have included $60,000 for the government center, $952,500 for 200 West Front Street. We have $529,000 allocated. Juvenile detention has $185,000. Law and Justice Center has $954,333. Parks and Rec $185,000, and then Fairview the $2 million that we'd mentioned before. And we'll entertain any questions or amendments.
Comments or questions from the committee? All right. Seeing no comments or questions, we will go ahead and take item 4C1C, the request approval of the capital improvement plan. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the motion passes. Administrator Taylor, over to you for any items to be presented for information this evening.
I have nothing to present further.
Thank you very much, and thank you for all of the work that you and the rest of the administration have done in partnership with our department heads. Certainly, the capital improvement plan is a large undertaking, and the budget is a even larger undertaking when all combined together. So thank you all so very much for making it succinct, for giving us a really great presentation that makes everything digestible, I'll say. Any additional comments or questions from the committee for Administrator Taylor or the rest of the team today? All right, seeing none, moving on to item 5, other business and communications. Our next meeting is November 7th, 2024 at 5 p.m. Without any other needs or comments, this meeting will be adjourned. Thanks for your service to the county, everybody.